flat plane.
They're not parallel.
Well, then they're not plumb.
They are plumb because
That's contradiction in terms, moron. Are you stupid? Define what plumb means, you stupid moron.
an orientation that is perpendicular.
What does perpendicular mean? At right angles, right? Well, if the guy next to you's not at right angles, it is not plumb.
They both have right angles to plumb. Both orientations.
Right angles are plumb, then we're on a flat plane. If both have got right angles to the plumb line, we're on a flat plane.
Wow, you destroyed yourself again, Zanuck. Damn.
If you've got plumb lines, they're running parallel with one another. That's what plumb line is. If you're saying plumb lines aren't plumb, that's ludicrous. And if you're saying they've both got 90 degrees, then they're on a flat plane. Simple.
No, it's not that simple because they're both locally plumb, as was said.
Plumb means parallel. If they're locally plumb and they're both plumb, then they are on a flat plane. Unless you say plumb is not plumb.
Plumb is 90 degrees from that orientation.
Well, then they've both got plumb lines, then they're both 90 degrees to each other, then they are, while I get interrupted by my own panel, they are on a flat plane, Zanuck.
No, they're not parallel, but both.
Oh, well, then they're not plumb, moron. Don't you know what plumb means? If they're not parallel, they're not plumb.
Plumb doesn't mean parallel.
Ah, does it not? So you think two plumb lines aren't parallel? You're a moron.
Plumb lines aren't parallel unless.
Yes, they are.
Did you hear that? Plumb lines aren't parallel on the sphere. On a what? Oh, on a sphere.
Did he say on a... For example, if I had a spherical magnet.
I don't give a shit what you've got on a sphere. We're talking about plumb lines. Plumb lines run parallel.
No, they don't, actually.
Yes, they do. That's what they are. That's what they do. Hold on. What's going on? Yes, they do. That is what a plumb line is.
Geodesic surveying.
Sorry, are you now ignoring every word I'm saying and continuing to talk while I pummel your nonsense that plumb lines aren't parallel? Now it seems you're doing it with your line open as well, so you are definitely ignoring me by talking through me. Is that right, Discord panel? He's just ignoring me by talking through me.
I'm listening.
Doesn't seem that way. I watched the line dance up and down, and when I opened the line, you're still talking, and you've ignored my last point. What was the last point I just made?
You asked if they were parallel. If they weren't
No,
parallel,
I stated a fact. No, that wasn't. No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
parallel
Sorry,
plumb lines.
why are you misrepresenting what I've said? That's not what I didn't say. Please misrepresent what I've said. No, that's not what I asked. That's a fact. That's what plumb lines are. Unless you're going to say, no, they run at an angle to each other, they'd eventually meet at a point. No, they wouldn't. That's not what plumb lines are.
Actually, they are.
No, that is absolutely in violation of Euclidean geometry, which very much defines what a plumb line is. It gives you vertical.
What is this?
It is one of the biggest RPGs in mobile gaming right now. I am legitimately...
On the large scale, you can't use Euclidean geometry on it.
Who says that? Sphere Earth believing zealots?
Well, when you measure the plumb lines...
Who says that? Citation, please.
Any geodetic surveying manual, I have several...
Sorry, the geodetics we've gone through, they beg the question of a sphere Earth and then draw a tangent plane. So on the edge of the tangent plane, when they've drawn a zenith from a centre point, we'll have exactly the same plumb line on the very edge of the zenith, very edge of the tangent plane, to the original zenith that was drawn at the centre. So even the geodetic surveyors confirm that plumb lines run parallel.
No, they don't.
According to geodetic surveyors, for their mathematics that use Euclidean geometry to actually function, they draw a tangent plane, a flat plane.
There we go. It's in the chat. There's our citation. Talks all about Euclidean geometry not applying to spheres and ellipsoids and geoid differences.
Who cares? When they actually do any surveying, they are using Euclidean geometry. After begging the question and drawing their zenith to a presupposed sphere Earth centre, and then drawing out from that zenith at the centre point a flat tangent plane, as they describe it. In other words, we're going to presuppose this is a tangent point, and from that tangent point on a sphere, we're going to draw a bloody flat surface. And every single
That was me, Nathan, because he did say it was yes when
you definitely pay attention to the fact to be so, and your sphere, we debunk running parallel to each other. That's a fact, even in your own surveyor's ideological use of factual Euclidean geometry. It's proving flat Earth.
Interesting that you even mentioned that the geodetic surveyors use a tangential surface.
We've debunked that presupposition, moron. Didn't you listen to a word I just said?
I listened to every word.
Well, then I've pointed it out. Why would you use it? You don't have a tangent.
You said they use a flat tangential surface.
You don't have a tangent.
But you said they did.
No, they say they're assessing their flat plane. That's the bit they're actually doing with tools that you say don't work the way they work. You say plums move to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. And yet your spherical Earth surveyors assume plums run parallel to each other on their, quote, tangent plane. However, the presupposition which gives them the word tangent before the bit they're actually operating within the parameters of, which is a flat plane, that tangent bit is dead. Black Swan killed it. I'll say it again, you've ignored it twice. You don't have a tangent.
Even though they use the word in term tangent surface. Tangent
yeah, but you
line.
don't have one. That presupposition is dead.
Okay.
They also use the word plane. And the reason they use plane is because levels are level and plums are plumb. But what we should address this fundamental presupposition that we've debunked. No, you don't draw tangents to non-geometric positions. You can't, you don't, we don't have no Atmo day. We've debunked the tangent line. You all claim it's a donkey dick. Are you stupid? Are you just slow to keep up with the arguments? You need to keep up to date with the flat Earth debate. You don't, fourth time, have a tangent.
They call it a tangent, and
I don't give a shit what they call it. Their presupposition's dead. You think circle jerking me with what they call it over and over again? Yeah, and Newton called it gravity. So what? We've debunked it's not a force. Does that mean that suddenly the words of Newton hold true because he's labelled it such? No, mate. They call it a tangent plane, but we've debunked the tangent bit, leaving only the plane bit. That would be the flat Earth bit. The bit proving that all of these tools demonstrated to prove flatness work only when you're using Euclidean geometry and mapping out a plane to assess, which is what they do assess, with these tools that do hold true and demonstrate flatness in the form of horizontal with a level that's got water in it and vertical with plumb lines. Those are principles that are applied and do hold true. Unlike your assertion here, the plumb lines move to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. They don't, and not even your own surveyors use that principle, you moron.
They call it a tangent plane, they actually measure the...
Oh, so you're just going to keep asserting that because they call it a tangent plane, we've got to pay that umbrage? No.
That's the citation.
Can I ask Zanuck?
We've debunked the tangent. I'm going to give him one last chance to let this little dying rag down, or he's getting kicked out. You don't have a tangent. Now, either you leave a stony silence and ignore it and I kick you out, or you address the fact that you do not have a tangent for a tangent plane. We have debunked it.
Yeah, locally it's just a flat surface.
Sorry, you're not addressing that you don't have a tangent. That would be moving on to locally, it's not a tangent plane. You don't have a tangent. Locally is going to address a new tangent plane. So locally isn't working as a defence. I've addressed it by pointing out you don't have a tangent. You're still yet to address it, you little fundy bitch. Yeah, laugh it up. You can fuck off. Get out. He knows he's smashed, so he's just got to circle jerk me. That's all he can do. He knows he's dead.
Well, actually, wait. Before you say anything, 10th man, Zanuck's best phrase is, those laugh at, was it, has he say it? They laugh at what things they don't understand or ridicule. Him laughing, okay, right. So him laughing is mocking. So there you go.
Okay, now I'm glad he's gone, by the way, but he did admit it. Yes, they do. And then he forgot he admitted it. But my question to him, if he was here, but I think we can pretty much answer it, is locally, and use that when you said, if I move an inch, what will happen? So I wonder how locally is measured in his locally, because there is a tool for navigation called a sextant.
Let me just answer your question. They measure it flat. That's what they do locally. Yes. Measure it flat.
Yes, they must, because my next segment is a tool for navigation called a sextant. Works off a right angle, and it's got to have, what distance does a sextant go? As far as the horizon could be seen, and that's at 0. And guess where 90 degrees is? Your zenith. There's your right angle, perpendicular, horizontal and vertical, no curve.